When I stepped on the scale this morning, I felt a feeling that 100 pounds ago, I never ever would have dreamt of feeling when looking at my metrics. For those of us on a GLP-1 journey, I think there are certain things that we just naturally focus on. And today when I stepped on the scale, something clicked in my brain of a whole new shift of focus that I want to talk about. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Betty, and I have lost over 100 pounds over the past 14 months with the help of Zepbound. In today's Scale Scoop, I'm going to go over what has happened the last week, medication, dosage changes, weigh-in, and a few other things that I really want to touch on that I think are going to be incredibly helpful for those of us navigating this journey together. Okay, so today is just going to be really casual. I know they normally are casual, these check-ins, but all three of my kids are home because we had parent-teacher conferences this morning. So I am occupying them. They earned some screen time, and I'm just going to do what I can while the baby naps and they're occupied. So we'll do a quick check-in. So I'll start with my weigh-in this week. So last week I was 137, and today I weighed in at 135.6. So that's 1.4 pounds. I think it's 0.6 or it's 0.4. Anyway, I lost this week and I feel, I don't know, my body just keeps losing. So I'm not doing that much differently. Just paying attention to my food and to, protein and strength training, all those things. So I think my body is just naturally moving to where it wants to go. And that's also something else I'm going to touch on in a little bit, but nevertheless, there was a loss on the scale this week after last week being flat. As I'm in this phase of approaching maintenance, but not knowing when I'm exactly going to be in maintenance, it's interesting because you do kind of have to let go of that control and trust that your body will settle in where it needs to. Obviously, if someone gets too low within their healthy weight range, that's something to consider. But I think for me, and with my doctor's approval, if my body continues to lose a little bit until it kind of settles out, I'm in that healthy range within my height and weight, that I'm not super concerned, as long as my muscle mass and, body fat percentages look good. So just kind of it's an interesting journey. I think we all know that by this point. There's really nothing, there's things we can control, and then there are the things that we can't control, and we just have to kind of let it go. So a quick little life update. Guys, this guide is going to give me a head full of gray hair. I cannot tell you how challenging this is for me. If someone out there knows Kajabi, please help me. I'm trying to get like a funnel to be able to send you guys the email. Nothing is working. I go to test it. The email never comes. So I'm just banging my head against the wall, and I promise I'm trying to get the guide out as soon as possible, but technology is just not my friend right now. So I'm trying though. I really am trying. It's close. The guide is done. Everything is done. I just can't get the email out. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll have someone who's techie teach me all the ways, but my poor husband's like, I wish I could help you, but I don't know what you need. But anyway, so life has been kind of just busy, and obviously I have an 18-month-old, I have an 8-year-old, and I have a 6-year-old. Life is full, and it's funny because I kind of forget that I'm postpartum, that I'm only a year and a half from having a baby. And I think a lot of that has to do with Zepbound, because with my other 2 children, postpartum, I didn't feel good in my body. I felt really tired. You feel overwhelmed. I think when it's your third, for me anyway, it's so much easier because I've done this twice before, and things are not as scary as they were the first time around. So I forget that my body had a baby 18 months ago, which is really kind of wild to think about. But I say that because I'm trying to juggle a lot right now, like so many of us. And when you have an 18-month-old, there's not much you can get done when they're awake and needing you. So, but she's so fun. Oh my God. She's just the funniest little baby, and I love her so much. I love all my kids so much, but it's fun going back to the baby stage after my other 2 are older, because I feel like I can really appreciate this baby time, and this is our last. And so I'm really just able to kind of soak it in more, I think, than I could with the first two. So I'm just taking it all in. But anyway, let's get into what I was supposed to be talking about. As for my dosage this week, I went down to 6 milligrams. The nice thing about having the vials is I can kind of pull what I need. I am not a medical professional. Everything I say is my own personal experience and what I have okayed with my doctor. So I share this not to tell you how to do your medication, but only just for sharing my own experience. So I went down to 6 on Wednesday, and I feel fine. The one thing that I noticed actually last week, I had headaches pretty much every single day. And this week I have noticed I haven't had headaches, and I was trying to tie it to, what it could be. And I realized I was out of my electrolytes last week, but this week I've been putting them in my water every day. So it just made me realize, I think sometimes we can have a symptom and we might, blame it on the medication, just assuming that that's what's causing it. But in some cases, it might be something completely unrelated. And so it just was a good reminder that my body was just needing some extra hydration. And oh man, it just feels so much better. I don't know if anyone else struggles with headaches. They're just, I don't know, not fun. I don't really enjoy them. I don't know who does, but I don't. Okay, so I want to talk about something that was a first for me, I guess, on this entire journey. I had some reflection this morning after I stepped on the scale. So I know I had talked about the Arboleaf scale. That's the new smart scale that I'm trying out. And while it's a smart scale, it's more in depth in what it showed me than any of the other smart scales that I've had. And so I was just looking through all the metrics this morning after I weighed in and checking things out. And there's a section where it shows you where you rank, I guess, on body mass, or on muscle mass, fat mass, and body fat percentage. I think I'll show a screenshot of it here, but it shows you kind of like where you lie in, acceptable ranges. And when I saw that my muscle mass is in the healthy range. It's actually towards like the high end of the healthy range. And I cannot tell you how relieved I felt. And I want to touch on why. There's a couple of reasons. One, I think we focus so much on muscle in this journey, which we should. It is very much a real, issue that people can hit when they are losing drastic amounts of weight. And I have lost muscle. I know someone had asked how I knew I had lost muscle along with, 100 pounds. And my doctor would do in-body scans in her office when I would go in for my checkups with my, lab draws and all that. So I don't know exactly how much I lost. I'm sure she has records of that, but I have lost muscle. I've lost fat as well. But the fact that I can lose, over 100 pounds and still have my muscle mass be in the upper end of, good. You know what I did? I thanked the 237 pound Elizabeth. And you know why? Because that Elizabeth, she worked out. She was 237 pounds, but I was fit. I would do HIIT workouts. I strength trained. Oh my gosh. Like some of you know, there was a period of time where I did it every single day, twice a day for 100 days because I don't know, that was not healthy, but that's what I did. I would run. I would go on long walks. I was a healthy, strong 237 pound individual. And it just tells me how much of that fat or how much of that weight was muscle to still have, a good amount of muscle mass on my body. So I was just reflecting because I think so much of this journey, we can focus on what we need to change or what needs to be different. We're always kind of, something is wrong, so we need to change it. And today I had the realization that it's so important for us to take the time to focus on what we don't need to change, what is already where we want it to be. So I think that's an important focus if you're struggling with a long-term weight loss goal and it seems like it's just this daunting task to lose a lot of weight. I would encourage you to, along the way, celebrate the milestones and also celebrate what's already working, what already in your life is something that you don't need to change because it is a healthy habit or it is in alignment with where you want to be. Whether it's, you know what, I drink 100 ounces of water every single day and I do that consistently. Celebrate that. Like, celebrate these habits and these pieces of ourselves that don't need to be changed because they're perfectly fine the way they are. So take a moment to ask yourself, what's already working? What is something that I've built already that I should be proud of? Because I do think it's important to reflect on those things because our wins don't always show up like exactly where we're looking. I feel like sometimes we have to look at the whole picture of data to know something's working. For me, my win was that I have a decent amount of muscle mass on my body already. So it's not necessarily about I need to build. At this point, it's more about preserving, but that took such a weight off of my shoulders. And to be able to see in front of me data, numbers of what my body is made up of, not just the number on the scale, but the components that are making up that number on the scale. And I've had smart scales before, but this is just so in depth, the reading that it gives you. It reminds me of a DEXA scan because I've had a DEXA scan done before. It's very in depth. It shows you kind of where you lie as far as, different metrics. But to have it on my phone and to be able to see it every day when I get, step on the scale, it's so helpful. It is so incredibly helpful. So that was my win for this week. My win was seeing that I have, I've got good muscle mass, and that feels really good because even though I was 100 pounds heavier, the work that I was putting in, it was doing something. And I think we have this thought process of, and I know I had this thought process that because I was 237 pounds, the work that I was doing wasn't working. It wasn't giving me results. And now I'm realizing it was giving me results in one way, but it wasn't giving me the results that maybe the outer world could have seen from my physical appearance, but it was building muscle. It was making me strong. I was saying something to my husband the other day about, I don't know, something about like some loose skin or something. And he's like, you went from, having the body of a linebacker to the body of a Betty. And I was like, I know that you're trying to be sweet, but don't ever refer to me as a linebacker again. But I mean, yeah, I kind of did have the body of a short linebacker. So yeah, I don't know. It was just an interesting reflection to have. And I don't know that I would have had that if I didn't have that data in front of me. So it's just, one other thing to reflect on in this long process that we're on. So for those of you on a long-term journey, if you feel like you're not accomplishing or you're not close to your goal, I would encourage you to take a closer look. What is something that's going right for you? What is something that you've built that you can be proud of? Because it's so important to remind ourselves of how far we've come, even if we're not necessarily all the way to where we want to go. And again, that is we never really arrive, right? But along the journey, it's so important to just remind ourselves that we have come a long way and we have put in so much work. And I don't think enough of us do that. So this week, that's something that I would invite you to do. And Arboleaf did give me a code. So if you are in the market for a new smart scale and you want to be able to see all the metrics, the link is in my description. And if you use the code Betty, B-E-T-T-Y at checkout, then you'll get 5% off your entire order. And I think that's really it for this week. Just a quick check-in. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would like, subscribe. I do this every week, along with a lot of other videos all about GLP-1 and weight loss and strength and all the things. And also drop a comment down below. I want to know, what is one win that you have been overlooking? If you reflect on your journey, what's one thing that you haven't been celebrating, but you should be celebrating? Because I want to hear that. I want to celebrate you. I think our whole community can celebrate each other. That's what I love about. I love seeing people, commenting on other people's comments and just sharing advice and encouragement. It's so fun. This has been, I don't know. I just love that we are creating a happy, kind, respectful little slice of the internet, because I know that does not exist everywhere. So if we can carve it out, I think that's just, we're doing our good deed for the world, to just be spreading positivity and kindness. And it's so needed right now. It's so needed right now. And if you are feeling overwhelmed with this entire journey, that's what I created, the Betty Method Guide. It's totally free. It's, like I said, it's done. It's just trying to get it out into the world to you guys. So the link below is to join the waitlist. And what that means is once the guide is live, it will be instantaneously sent to your inbox. It's my 5-pillar framework about how I lost 100 pounds with the help of Zepbound, but while creating sustainable, healthy habits along the way. And I wish I had it when I started. So that's why I created it, so that you can have it on your journey. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next week.